In November and December 2022, Qatar hosted the first World Cup, where all the matches were organized in only one city, with over 1 million fans coming from all over the world. This is the story of how Qatar accommodated them all.
December 2010, we were in Zurich, and we were all seated in the theater in the FIFA headquarters. And literally, I mean, you have like a mini heart attack.
It was a very difficult moment, and at the same time, it is emotional moment.
I remember this moment as if it was yesterday, to be honest.
Watching the TV, waiting for the announcement.
Things stops, you stop breathing, you stop feeling, you have goosebumps, and the envelopes open.
Qatar!
We won. We won.
Qatar won, and I was so excited.
I don't know what I did at that time.
I was crying and laughing at the same time.
It was full of tears.
It's very difficult to explain that moment, to be honest.
I cannot describe that moment.
It was just a dream come true.
It was a huge success, but it was also a huge challenge.
It was so much pressure, but it's a pressure and it's a motivation that I cannot fail.
Of course, there is a challenge because it's a World Cup. Many people, they will come.
First question we had to answer was, how many rooms do we need and how many people are going to come? We knew from the very start that it was going to be a big party. Everyone's going to want to be here. 32 teams, 32 countries, supporters, all in one city. So it was going to be a fantastic event, but a challenge.
The first thought I had is there are a lot of things to be completed, a lot of projects to be delivered.
This is a whole nation plan. It's not only building a stadium or delivering a venue or hosting. It's the entire journey. It's an entire experience. It's people knowing about Qatar, introducing the country, wanting to come to the country, live the experience all the way from the time of the booking, arriving to the airport, getting into a taxi or into a bus, enjoying a stay in their accommodation, going to the stadium. I mean, it was my personal goal to make every single fan and visitor to Qatar an ambassador.
This is a World Cup that is very well organized.
Everything is a 10 out of 10.
I think it's the best World Cup so far.
It's been an awesome experience.
Accommodation was from day one is a very tricky question.
How we can host all those thousand of fans, then became millions.
The $1 million question was always, how many rooms are you gonna have? How many rooms do we really need?
Where will be the accommodation exactly?
What do we need to select? Where do we select it?
Type of building, the size of the units.
How good is it for the fan experience?
Will they come for the day? Will they come for 2 days, 5 days? Will they stay with family and friends?
How close is it to the transportation?
The geographic distribution, where they are from, situated in the city or in all Qatar.
Does it have public transportation? Do we create a route around it? Is it of a good furnishing standard? Do we need to add to it?
And considering that football fans come from different social backgrounds, the accommodation plan had to reflect that variety.
We provide the fans with a different option of accommodation and with a different level of service and with a different price.
An operation that haven't been done before. No nation have taken it upon themselves to provide such a variety of accommodation solutions.
At the same time, we need also to make sure that all these properties will be meeting the requirements that we have set for the World Cup.
And so the accommodation options covered high-end hotel suites, hotel rooms, rented villas, apartments and community housing, fan villages, caravans, porta cabins, traditional Qatari tents, traditional Qatari dhow boats, and even cruise ships.
Floating hotels is always a convenient and a reliable solutions. because here comes the ships with the services, with the staff, with everyone.
MSC, who provided the cruise ships, were amazing. I mean, they know what they're doing. It's their business. They've been doing it for many years. The ship itself was amazing. Obviously, one of the ships was brand new.
So you have a kind of complete solution around it.
And all these accommodation options had one key driving factor behind them: sustainability.
Because our mission was always to have a sustainable solution and to have a legacy, so we had to work with what we have. We had to work with our stakeholders. Yes, we had some temporary solutions.
But sourcing the apartments, villas, and community housing posed another challenge.
Qatar had this brilliant idea to rent a number of properties within all Qatar and put it in place to be ready to serve the fans.
The project involved managing 663 properties, representing 66,803 rooms scattered all around Qatar. And so an urban plan was developed dividing Qatar in 6 different clusters, with each cluster containing around 12,000 rooms.
Very interesting concept that from a sustainability perspective, we're utilising existing buildings and properties within the country. So we're utilising existing villas and apartments, and we are matching them to a hotel standard.
But to meet the requirements of these 66,803 rooms, a huge network of suppliers had to be established, one that involved 218 companies from around 15 countries around the world.
Before that, we need to make sure the products have met the standards, that they've reached Qatar, that they've actually got into the rooms, and ahead of that, the products that we will use internally, my colleagues and I and our operations team, will use those products to make sure that the rooms are fit for purpose and have met the standard that we need to.
We basically created from scratch a solution to turn buildings, projects, not overnight, over months and years, into a hotel, into a hospitality solution, completely serviced with an international known service providers. When someone checks in and he cannot notice when he walks in that this is a regular apartment building, because here comes, you have the sign outside the building, you walk in, you have a reception, you have a receptionist, you have a concierge service, you have a hotline 24/7, you have beds, linens, all what we call as an OSLEs with an international standards.
We insist as accommodation team also to involve the community, the Qatari community, to our accommodation projects. Most people in Qatar, they have their own caravans. So we thought of involving or allowing or giving the opportunity to these people to rent their caravans to us, and then we can utilize them as accommodation solution as well.
We put the goal to achieve 130,000 rooms to be ready for the tournament time. That number of rooms to accommodate number of fans and the teams and the FIFA requirements. The accommodation department is not only about fans accommodation. We are talking beyond that. We are providing the accommodation for the journalists, media people, FIFA's team, visitors. So we are accommodating every single person who is visiting Qatar during the World Cup.
Prior, we had to check the readiness of those properties. We need to check every single details. We need to check that the Wi-Fi was strong enough to make everyone happy in their bedrooms. And all of our properties, we ensured there is a free Wi-Fi to everyone.
We had to go hand in hand with readiness of a property. If an apartment is ready, we had to make sure the Wi-Fi is ready. If it's a villa is ready, we had to make sure the Wi-Fi is ready in that villa.
We were split into 3 elements. We obviously had the guys focused on supply and securing the accommodation. We had the team that were focused on the operation, but at the end of it, we also had to sell and distribute these properties. So it was a huge project. And what was extraordinary was that we had experts in every element. It was a dynamic team.
The other challenge what we have is the number of the team that we should recruit and how we're going to recruit them, from which countries. Is it going to be possible to find the talents to work for that project and bring it to success in such a very short lead time that we have? Right after the recruitment, we thought about visas, because as any country, when you're gonna recruit a mass number of people, you think about how you're gonna make the logistics to bring them to the country and the visas to issue that. The time has to be quick also.
12,000 plus of those were recruited in less than 10 months between January and October. And I'm quite proud to have 81 nationalities in the team. It's an international event, so we had over 44 languages.
12,300 accommodation workers, 81 nationalities, 44 languages. That's a world on its own.
13,000 employees to train is not a usual number, especially not in hospitality. You might find that number in region, on a regional basis, but in a country, it has never been heard of. We had several categories of training. The on-the-job training are based on the standard operating procedure, where the operational trainers train their team on a departmental basis. The training managers are training huge numbers of people in batches in an intense manner, 120 average in a group, and twice a day, and this is going on for almost 2 months. It's really intense.
The atmosphere was really challenging, with staff coming from different nationalities, different thinking, different atmosphere, different education background. So we had assigned people to take care of those nationalities, and we could overcome majority of the challenges, yes.
I believe it's the way we're gonna provide to our colleagues. It's the secret to the end success to serve the guest. For me, it was very important that they sleep well in a comfortable place, clean place. Even had a service of housekeeping for our own team who are doing housekeeping for the guests, so we provide for them the housekeeping. We had some kind of competition, like electing the best apartment of the week and the month, and gives them some prizes, and encourage them to be in the best environment we can.
And then there was the challenge of transportation.
Transportation of the team itself. When you have such a number of colleagues working in one project and they need to go all over Qatar.
The most challenge it was, when we had the transportation to be shifted from one shift, as we had the pre-tournament schedule, into 24/7.
Every morning on 3 shifts, we're talking about a movement that more than 12,000 employees moving every day 3 times on 3 different shifts. It's a massive organization that had to be put in place. Of course, you cannot transport them without the vehicles, so we need to find also the cars, coasters, buses. We had to think about the drivers behind, because each bus or each car or each vehicle needs 3 drivers to work 3 shifts. Also, we used a system of vehicle tracking system, so we knew exactly each vehicle, each bus, each coaster, each van, each car, where they are live on a big screen. We knew the point where they are starting, where they are ending. There is a pre-programmed traffic route traced in advance. So we know if any vehicle are going out of their traces, so we can trace it immediately.
And I'm happy to say that everyone put absolutely 200% in. And even though the situation was very challenging, but everyone performed really up to the challenge.
There are huge numbers thrown about. I think the one that stands out for me is the one about laundry.
$60,000 rooms, we calculated 360 tons. And 3 par stock of linen we calculated that we need to have, and that came around 1,080 tons of linen that we need to process.
It's the first time and the biggest operational hospitality service was provided in a world. We are talking about 67,000 rooms operated by one operator, with one hospitality company.
We needed to optimize the time and the tools and the means that we have in the project. So in order to do this in a successful way, we thought that the best thing to do is use the best technology we can to help us. One of the things that we put in place, and we do not have, I never had it in my hotels before, it's the RFID system in the linen. So each piece of linen, and we're talking about millions of pieces of linen, handled every day, that we have to go and wash it and come back. To count those linen every day, like we do in a hotel. In a normal hotel, it takes us an hour or two every day just to count and control the linen. Imagine when you multiply this by big numbers, we're talking about millions. It was impossible to deliver on time, especially when we had very short windows of traffic. So all the linen that we have ordered specifically for that project was integrated with a kind of chip to detect their location, the number. So imagine if you have 2 tons of linen in one pallet going through a gate, it's immediately counted in less than a second.
In our plans, we talk about over hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands and more of rooms.
The fact that we had to operate the biggest hotel in the world for 28 days was always going to be a challenge.
How do we ensure everything is operated at the same time? In some of our peak periods, we have check-ins, over 40 or 50,000 people checking in at the same time. Name the biggest hotels, the biggest hotel chain in the world. You'll never have the same number of people checking in into their properties at the same time.
In the tournament time, we have operated over 180 equivalent to Sheraton Hotel.
We have done 1 million guest nights into this project period. For a hotel with the size of 200 rooms, with 100% occupancy, it will take 13 years, 6 months to achieve 1 million guest nights. So this is an example for the hospitality industry, the milestone that we have created, and people will follow this, that yes, this has been done in Qatar, and our footprints will be there.
It was this dedicated team of workers who behind the scenes helped Qatar deliver an amazing job in accommodating fans and visitors.
Qatar focused primarily on the guest. They focused on the guest journey, and I think that bore out by those who came here saying what a fantastic tournament was, and those who didn't thought, shame, I wish I'd gone.
I know it might sound a bit cliche, but really it's all about people.
You meet so many amazing people and you really get to experience this moment, which you won't forget.
For sure, I have met people I will stay in touch with, or our paths will cross again in the future.
One of the moments that really was really memorable for me, it's the event of 974, where I finally managed to gather the 13,000 employees under one roof. There was no roof, but it's a stadium.
Look who we are the dreamers, we make it happen, guess we believe it. Look who we are the dreamers, we make it happen, cause we can see it. Let's do the world, now keep the passion, respect, oh yeah. Let's do the world,
And that was a moment that means a lot to everyone who contributed in that project.
The specific moment when I thought that we've done it was when His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad put the best on Messi. That moment will go in history as the moment when Argentina won the World Cup, and he was crowned with the highest attire from a cultural perspective.
The part that I was most proud of, I can say that we successfully managed to provide more than the required number of rooms.
When we hit 94%, excellent response from the people as they left. It was my wow moment.
The success of this project or that mission is not by accident. It's lots of people who's work behind, lots of preparation, lots of hard work, lots of thinking. It's not only success who comes just like that, it comes with also some failure. But failure where we sometimes stop, find out that we need to think differently, learn from what's happening quickly, because we have no time.
The confidence and support that we got from our top management, I was able enough to cascade it down to my teams, and this is what helped us to get through this together.
And that was extraordinary, that the people from all over the globe with various backgrounds were able to come together and deliver this amazing project.
I believe that wherever you go, as long as you're open to learn and you're perseverant in order to overcome challenges, you can go everywhere.
In the past, I could open hotels, 1 in a year, 10 in a year, but this was one of the unique projects. I would say consider opening 300 hotels in 1 year.
Qatar 2022 in one word would be pride.
I am proud of my team because we work as a one team and we did it.
We made history.
I'm certain what's been done in Qatar, it will be taken as a blueprint, as a guidance, as a story to be told to everyone, I'm not sure if I should say that, but I think we've set the bar too high.
And the world has taken notice.